Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transmetal 2 Dinobot, otherwise known as Dinobot 2. Now, as the day of recording, I picked this guy up today at a little vintage toy shop called Ancient City Toys. I've already forgotten where it was, but I will say that place was pretty amazing. It got a lot of Star Wars stuff and had an interesting selection of Transformers. I got this Dinobot, a Transmetal 2 Cheetor, and a repair of Transmetal 2 Optimal Optimus that I will most likely be showing off in a later video now that I have a complete Optimal Optimus. But anyway, today we're taking a look at this boy. I have the, I guess you would say, cream color variant. There are two different variants of Dinobot 2, which is the more common cream color variant, which has a more yellowed color to the white and a much darker metallic blue, while the white version has much more white on the white and the blue is a much lighter blue. Dinobot 2 like this I would not much care for which version I got, but the only other version of this mold that I want to get will have to be Repticon, which is a blue repaint of this guy with a greenish silver chrome for all the chrome. But yeah, taking a look at this guy in Raptor mode, he's pretty good. He has one gimmick here, which is his tail, which I'm lucky enough to have mine be nice and straight, relatively. It does go off to the side a little bit, but it's straight enough, which I'm very thankful for, as I have heard that the tails on these tend to curl real bad. Like, I believe they tend to curl this way, so I'm happy that mine is straight. He also has a spark crystal in the head, but I'm going to show that off in robot mode. And I might as well get articulation over with in Raptor mode because he does have a little bit of articulation. He's got a ball joint here so he can do a swivel. His leg moves out that far forward, that far back, and he's got a reverse hinge here at the foot. He's also got a downward hinge at the toes, but that's more for robot mode. Up here at the arms, you've got a ball joint down here, which is more for robot mode. A hinge here, and another hinge here, and a hinge here, but that's kind of hindered because this is hard plastic, which I almost forgot to mention. There's also a hinge on this side of the claws, but that is also hindered by the hard plastic. And yeah, that I will say is... oh, I almost forgot. He's also got a little bit of movement at the head. I'm not sure if it's a ball joint or what. I'm looking in there and I don't see one. But he can look a little bit side to side. He can look pretty far up and not that far down. And his mouth opens to reveal a secondary mouth similar to a xenomorph. Now anyway, I'm going to begin the transformation, which this is a little bit fiddly. You can keep the tail on, which that is a removable accessory I will go over in robot mode. So I like to start off by getting his arms, straightening them out to become the legs, and bringing them down a little bit. Then I like to lift this piece up and try and get everything out, because this guy does kind of micro explode. Bring this thing back, which will then prompt these to try and swing forward. Yes, there we go, there we go. Then we can do that, push the raptor head in, bring that up. Before we bring the arms all the way up, we'll flip these things out and in and try to peg them in. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but there is a little peg right here to try and get to that hole, which can be a little fiddly. Then we just fiddle around with him, get him how we like. And here we've got Transmetal 2 Dinobot, or Dinobot 2 in a robot mode. And I've got to say, for this guy, he's got a relatively simple transformation. It works. His articulation is a little bit hindered, but that's probably due to age, especially with his legs, because he's got really loose leg, but luckily that isn't too much of a problem as long as I've got the tail on, which I usually do. And yeah, I say he's fairly show accurate. I'll bring the camera in closer to the face. You know, all the blues on where the skin should be, and I say his teeth aren't exactly how they show accurate they would be in the show, as they are a bit different, as this chin part right here would just be all the way up when he opened his mouth to growl. But yeah, paint wise for his face and whole body, I'm not even gonna get into that, as that's a whole different beast. But yeah, now he no longer has chrome showing on his back like in Raptor mode. Now it's just on his big old shoulder pads, which you can kind of configure however you want, like all the way up here to down here. I tend to like to keep them up at a downward slope. And then you have the chrome on his chest for the spark chamber, which I will show off now. And that reveals a nice Predacon crystal. I'll try bringing that in to see if I can show that off, which, based on what I'm seeing through the camera, I say that looks pretty good. So let's close that up. Now, accessory-wise, he's only really got one, which, like I mentioned earlier, is his tail. You can try and pop that off and stick it on this port here. It doesn't do a very good job. It'll feel like it's going in good, but easy little shake and it comes right off. And it's supposed to be a kind of whip, which you can use that gimmick from before to make it look like he's whipping it. But that's not really very good, and it makes him forward heavy, which is something we do not want. So I'm just going to stick that back on him. And yeah, that's all his accessories. Now for his articulation. He's got a swivel at the head. I'm not sure if you would count these as hinges, but they are hinged. He's got a ball joint at the shoulder, so it can go 360, especially move this out of the way. It can move out that far, and it's kind of a swivel. Another ball joint here at the shoulder, which moves in a good 90 degrees and swivels. It can go all the way around. He's got a hinge here and another hinge here, so I guess if you want, you could have him having really big wide hands, or how I prefer it, having his hands forward, acting as this as a thumb, this as a kind of raptor-like finger, similar to how raptor toes are, and this being his regular fingers. He doesn't have anything at the waist, but he does have another ball joint at the leg, which goes that far out. He's got an okay spread. He can kick that far forward, that far back, so pretty nice. More than 90 degrees bend there. He's got a hinge here, but that's more for Raptor mode. And the hinge here, which, like I mentioned earlier, is restricted because of the hard plastic. And overall, I know this is a figure that it's either going to be love it or hate it. I personally am in that love it boat. I love the design of Dinobot too, because Dinobot in any version of Beast Wars is probably going to end up being my favorite character. I loved him in Season 2 of Beast Wars. He was pretty damn good in Season 1 too. He was kind of on the back burner for Season 3, but he's still a good character. I like his final moment of glory. I'm not going to spoil anything for the show. It's old as hell, but I'm still being nice. And overall, I say, if you can find him, I'd say go and pick him up. He's in that medium price range, as I found mine for about 25 bucks loose. I've seen in package copies of him. He is pretty pricey, and he does have a rare variant, which is much more white and has lighter blue. So if you want that one, have fun tracking it down. And if I ever get my hands on Rapticon, I will do a video on him. And anyways, I like this guy. I hope you do too, and I will see you all next time.